Pumaroon naman tayo sa bansang may pinakamaraming populasyon sa buong mundo, ang China. Isa sa mga may pinakamahabang kasaysayan ng mga imperyo, dinastiya at iba pa. Sa panahon ng pamamahala ng mga Manchu sa China, tuluyan tumagsa ang mga kanlarin sa China. Ang kanilang layuning makipagkalakalan sa mga Chino ay nauwi sa pagkakaroon ng agresibong hakbang upang maging makapangyarihan sa China. Dahil sa mababang pagtingin ng mga Chino sa mga bagay at kaalaman mula sa mga dayuhan, ay nawalan sila ng interes na tangkilikin ang mga produkto mula sa labas ng China. Ang sitwasyong ito ay nakapagbunsod sa mga kalooraning maghangad ng pantay na karapatan sa pagkikipagkalakalan at ng mas magandang mga patakaran para sa kanila. Pasok ng mga Great Britain ang kanilang produktong tinatawag na opio. Ito ay isang uri ng droga, ngunit nagalit ang mga Chino sapagkat marami sa mga Chino ay nauhumaling dito. Kaya gumawa ng paraan ng mga Chino. Noong 1859, kinumpiska at sinunog ng mga opisyal na Chino ang mahigit na 20,000 baul ng kargamentong opio ng mga British sa Guangzhou. Ito ang dahilan kung bakit nagkaroon ng gera sa pagitan ng mga British at ng mga Chino.
Laban!
Sa labanang namagitan sa Great Britain at sa China, marami nasugatan, namatay, nawalan ng buhay, nawalan ng pangansa. Dahil kulang sa kargamento kagamitan ng China, sila ay natalo ng mga Great Britain. Napilitan silang mag-retreat. Tapos sila matalo sa Great Britain ay inalokan nila ito ng mga bagay.
May halo kami kasunduan sa inyong bansa.
Ano yun?
Magbabayad kayo ng 20 milyong dolyar. Magbubukas kayo ng 5 daungan. Magbibigay kayo ng extraterritoriality sa amin. At bibigyan nyo ang Hong Kong sa amin.
Sige, papayag kami. Si Mao Zedong, itinatatag ang
Dumako naman tayo sa bansang Korea na may kapital na Seoul. Ang malaki ng kanilang bansa na hindi sila sinakop ng mga kalarunin, ngunit sila ay sasakupin naman ng mga Hapones. Sila ay papahirapan, sasaktan at iba pa. Taon din ang kanilang hinintay upang makaligtas. Dumako naman tayo sa susunod na bansa, ang India. Kilala ang bansang ito sa pagkakaroon ng mga yoga, iba't ibang klase ng mga ritual, pangunahing tahanan ng mga Pakistanis, Muslim, Hindu at iba pa. Bago pa man maganap ang kolonyalismo, nagsasama ang mga Hindu at mga Muslim ng mapayapa. Gumagawa ng normal na araw-araw, tahimik na pamumuhay.
Hello, sa loob.
Ngunit ang lahat ng ito ay magbabago dahil sa mga Europeo. At hindi pumayag si Gandhi sa kanilang binabalak. Alamin natin kung sino si Gandhi.
When I despair, I remember that all through history the ways of truth and love have always won. There have been tyrants and murderers, and for a time they can seem invincible, but in the end they always fall. Think of it always. Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi was a prominent Indian political leader who campaigned for Indian independence. He employed non-violent principles and peaceful disobedience. He was assassinated in 1948 by a fanatic. In India, he is known as Father of the Nation. Mohandas Gandhi was born, 1869, in Pabandar, India. Mohandas was from the social caste of tradesmen. His mother was illiterate, but her common sense and religious devotion had a lasting impact on Gandhi's character. As a youngster, Mohandas was a good student, but the shy young boy displayed no signs of leadership. On the death of his father, Mohandas travelled to England to gain a degree in law. He became involved with the Vegetarian Society and was once asked to translate the Hindu Bhagavad Gita. This epic of Hindu literature awakened in Gandhi a sense of pride in the Indian scriptures, of which the Gita was the pearl. Around this time, he also studied the Bible and was struck by the teachings of Jesus Christ, especially the emphasis on humility and forgiveness. He remained committed to the Bible and Bhagavad Gita throughout his life, though he was critical of aspects of both religions. On completing his degree in law, Gandhi returned to India, where he was soon sent to South Africa to practice law. In South Africa, Gandhi was struck by the level of racial discrimination and injustice often experienced by Indians. It was in South Africa that Gandhi first experimented with campaigns of civil disobedience and protest. He called his non-violent protests satyagraha. Despite being imprisoned for short periods of time, he also supported the British under certain conditions. He was decorated by the British for his efforts during the Boer War and Zulu Rebellion. After 21 years in South Africa, Gandhi returned to India in 1915. He became the leader of the Indian nationalist movement campaigning for Home Rule or Swaraj. Gandhi successfully instigated a series of non-violent protest. This included national strikes for 1 or 2 days. The British sought to ban opposition, but the nature of non-violent protest and strikes made it difficult to counter. Gandhi also encouraged his followers to practice inner discipline to get ready for independence. Gandhi said, the Indians had to prove they were deserving of independence. This is in contrast to independence leaders such as Aurobindo Bose, who argued that Indian independence was not about whether India would offer better or worse government, but that it was the right for India to have self-government. Gandhi also clashed with others in the Indian independence movement such as Subhas Chandra Bose, who advocated direct action to overthrow the British. Gandhi frequently called off strikes and non-violent protest if he heard people were rioting or violence was involved. In 1930, Gandhi led a famous march to the sea in protest at the New Salt Acts. In the sea they made their own salt, in violation of British regulations. Many hundreds were arrested and Indian jails were full of Indian independence followers. However, Whilst the campaign was at its peak, some Indian protesters killed some British civilians. As a result, Gandhi called off the independence movement, saying that India was not ready. This broke the heart of many Indians committed to independence. It led to radicals like Bhagat Singh carrying on the campaign for independence, which was particularly strong in Bengal. After the war, Britain indicated that they would give India independence. However, with the support of the Muslims led by Jinnah, the British planned to partition India into two, India and Pakistan. Ideologically, Gandhi was opposed to partition. He worked vigorously hard to show that Muslims and Hindus could live together peacefully. At his prayer meetings, Muslim prayers were read out alongside Hindu and Christian prayers. However, Gandhi agreed to the partition and spent the day of independence in prayer mourning the partition. Even Gandhi's fasts and appeals were insufficient to prevent the wave of sectarian violence and killing that followed the partition. Away from the politics of Indian independence, Gandhi was harshly critical of the Hindu caste system. In particular, he inveighed against the untouchable caste, who were treated abysmally by society. He launched many campaigns to change the status of the untouchables. Although his campaigns were met with much resistance, they did go a long way to changing century-old prejudices. At the age of 78, Gandhi undertook another fast to try and prevent the sectarian killing. After 5 days, the leaders agreed to stop killing. But 10 days later, Gandhi was shot dead by a Hindu Brahmin opposed to Gandhi's support for Muslims and the untouchables. In the attitude of silence, the soul finds the path in a clearer light, and what is elusive and deceptive resolves itself into crystal clearness. Our life is a long and arduous quest after truth. Gandhi. He said his great aim in life was to have a vision of God. He sought to see, worship God, and promote religious understanding. He sought inspiration from many different religions, Jainism, Islam, Christianity, Hinduism, Buddhism, and incorporate them into his own philosophy.
Natin ang mga Europeo at itatag natin ang ahimsa at satyagraha at
Suporta kay Gandhi si Nehru.
Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru was born on the 14th of November 1889 at Allahabad to Motilal and Swarup Rani. Their forefathers were Kashmiri Pandits. Jawaharlal went to England for further studies in 1905 and returned to India in 1914 after obtaining a master's degree. He married Kamla Kaul on the 8th of February 1916. Indira was born on the 19th of November 1917. Jawaharlal came under the influence of Bernard Shaw, Bertrand Russell, and familiarized himself with social ideas. In the political arena, national leaders like Lokmanya Tilak and Mahatma Gandhi wanted strong action against the British government. Tilak started the Home Rule League with Miss Annie Besant to demand freedom. Nehru joined their organization. In 1928, British government appointed a commission under chairmanship of Mr. Simon. Pandit Nehru along with other leaders demonstrated against Mr. Simon. They started a movement, Chale Jao Simon. They were arrested. In October 1930, Nehru addressed peasants at Allahabad, asking them not to pay land rent to zamindars and land tax to government. Finally, British Prime Minister Clement Attlee announced the transfer of power to India. India became independent on the 15th of August 1947. Pandit Nehru became the first Prime Minister of India. He gave significant importance to scientific research and technology development. The Chinese aggression in 1962 made him psychologically and physically weak. He died on May 27, 1964. He was a man of great vision and wisdom. He was totally dedicated. He relinquished all his wealth, comfort.
Ngunit hindi siya sangayon kay Gandhi na ituloy ang normal o tradisyonal na pamumuhay.
Mali, ang dapat natin ipagpatuloy ay ang modernisasyon.
Hindi rin pumayag si Gina na ipagpasama ang mga Indian at mga Muslim. Kilalanin natin kung sino ba si Ali Gina.
25, 1876, September 11, 1948, was a lawyer, politician, and the founder of Pakistan. Jinnah served as leader of the All India Muslim League from 1913 until Pakistan's independence on August 14, 1947, and as Pakistan's first Governor-General from independence until his death. He is revered in Pakistan as Quaid-i-Azam, great leader, and Baba-i-Qaum, father of the nation. His birthday is observed as a national holiday. Born in Karachi and trained as a barrister at Lincoln's Inn in London, Jinnah rose to prominence in the Indian National Congress in the first 2 decades of the 20th century. In these early years of his political career, Jinnah advocated Hindu-Muslim unity, helping to shape the 1916 Lucknow Pact between the Congress and the All India Muslim League, a party in which Jinnah had also become prominent. Jinnah became a key leader in the All India Home Rule League, and proposed a 14-point constitutional reform plan to safeguard the political rights of Muslims should a united British India become independent. In 1920, however, Jinnah resigned from the Congress when it agreed to follow a campaign of satyagraha, or nonviolent resistance, advocated by the influential leader, Mohandas Gandhi. By 1940, Jinnah had come to believe that Indian Muslims should have their own state. In that year, the Muslim League, led by Jinnah, passed the Lahore Resolution, demanding a separate nation. During the Second World War, the League gained strength while leaders of the Congress were imprisoned, and in the elections held shortly after the war, it won most of the seats reserved for Muslims. Ultimately, the Congress and the Muslim League could not reach a power-sharing formula for a united India, leading all parties to agree to separate independence for a predominantly Hindu India, and for a Muslim-majority state, to be called Pakistan. As the first Governor-General of Pakistan, Jinnah worked to establish the new nation's government and policies, and to aid the millions of Muslim migrants who had immigrated from the new nation of India to Pakistan after the partition, personally supervising the establishment of refugee camps. Jinnah died at age 71 in September 1948, just over a year after Pakistan gained independence from the British Raj. He left a deep and respected legacy in Pakistan, though he is less well thought of in India. According to his biographer, Stanley Wolpert, he remains Pakistan's greatest leader.
Muhammad Ali Jinnah, binabalak ni Nehru at Gandhi na pagsamahin ng Hindu at Muslim.
Hindi ako papayag. Ang Muslim ay Muslim lamang at ang Hindu ay Hindu lamang.